Today we're going to talk about menu planning. The menu behind me is a 6-course meal that I made for some friends of mine. Almost every single course was either made in advance or prepped in advance so that when it was time to serve, everything came off like clockwork. Now let's go through these one by one. The first course is Vitello Tonato, which when you tell people what it is, they go, that's the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my entire life. And then when they taste it, they go, this is one of the greatest things I've ever tasted. It is very thinly sliced pieces of veal that are laid on a plate. They're cooked and they're covered with a tuna sauce. It's made from either Italian or Spanish canned tuna, not the garbage you get in the store. This is the real stuff. It's very expensive, but it's worth it. You mix that with a little mayonnaise, some lemon juice, capers, and anchovy, and you spread it on the tuna. It is absolutely stunning. You can actually plate this before your guests arrive and then just serve it to them on cold plates. The next course, killer shrimp pasta with coconut cream. There's a chain around here. Well, it was a big deal years ago. There's a few of them left called Killer Shrimp, and they just served you this bowl of shrimp in the shell, and it had this incredible sauce, slightly spicy, kind of tomatoey, paprika based, but it was delicious. So I looked it up. I found several different recipes for it. I came up with my own. I cooked the shrimp for 2 minutes in the shell, then I took them out, and then I put them in the refrigerator with the broth. And when it was time to serve, I heated up the broth. I cooked the pasta. I poured the broth on top of the pasta after I drained it. Then I tossed in the shrimp, and it was done. Now, the next course was a cold course, which means it's in the refrigerator, so you don't have to cook anything. Chilled Persian cucumber and avocado soup with yogurt and dill. This is amazing. And all it is Persian cucumbers that are peeled, 1 avocado, some dill and yogurt, and a little bit of half and half that you just keep adding in until you get the consistency you want. And you put them in the blender until it pulverizes them. And you serve it. And it's refreshing because it's kind of a palate cleanser. And you don't do anything except serve it. The next course, my black cardamom eggplant. Now this is a course that I came up with on my own after getting into Indian food, which I am absolutely, totally, and completely enamored of. I think it's one of the greatest, most exciting cuisines in the world. And I came up with this dish using black cardamom. Now, people think cardamom is one spice. It's not. It's 2 spices. There's green cardamom and there's black cardamom. And why they're called the same thing is beyond me, because they taste totally different. Black cardamom is kind of a licoricey taste, and green cardamom is almost like a mint taste. Now, they are both in pods. The black cardamom in black pods, and the green cardamom obviously in green pods. Not too hard to distinguish. But you only use them immediately after you've cracked the pods, because once you've cracked the pods and you get these tiny little seeds out of them, they don't last very long. I'm talking a few days, and they really lose their pop. So you have to do it all at once. So what did I do? I just sauteed some eggplant and threw in the black cardamom seeds, and it was phenomenal. Now, I had some leftover pork, and I mixed that with some sweet and sour sauce, and I served that on the side. Came out perfect. Finally, the veal rib chop with black truffle sauce, mashed potatoes, and spinach souffle. Now, this is one of the most incredible dishes that I make, and it is a guaranteed hit every time. I get a veal rib, I slice off the bone, I tie it up into a nice round circle, and I put it in plastic with some salt and pepper and some black truffle salt and some black truffles, and I seal it up and I cook it in the sous vide machine for about 3 to 4 hours at approximately 128 degrees. And when you pull it out, just before you serve it, it is absolutely cooked perfectly. It is tender, it is flavorful, and it is out of this world. Mashed potatoes, obviously cooked ahead, warmed up in the oven. But the surprise, kids, is the spinach souffle, which I cook in ramekins ahead of time and then warm them up. And believe it or not, they're still fabulous. We're going to show you all of these recipes at some point, but the main point here is the planning of the meal so that it all comes out without a hitch. The final dessert was a banana custard, and this is amazing. A friend of mine showed me this Bird's custard powder, to which you add half and half. They tell you to add milk, but I add half and half the sugar it calls for, exactly half the sugar, okay? And you boil it, you add a squashed banana, and then you put them in parfait glasses and put them in the refrigerator. And when they chill down, they're ready to serve. You can put a little whipped cream on top, and they're fabulous. You can flavor it with anything you want. You can flavor it with berries. You can flavor it with coconut. It doesn't make any difference. Whatever you do, it tastes delicious. And how easy can it be? It's all done ahead. When you're planning dinner parties and you want to make a splash and you want to serve multiple courses, you have to plan it so that one course is being made while the other course is being served, or it's being warmed up in most cases. And that's very, very important. You can do this. This is not that difficult. We're going to show you how to do every single one of these, and you're going to see that it's not that difficult. You just have to pay one thing, and that is attention.